Hey. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Man, thank you so much. Hype train already on the intro. Thank you. How's everyone doing? Man, I wasn't here last week. I can explain. I already explained a little bit, but I wasn't here last week because my wife and I had a Halloween party here, and we haven't had like a party here in years. And so there was like an endless list of things we needed to do before the party. And so sorry, I had to call it last week. But the Halloween party was actually really awesome. If you want to know what I was for Halloween, it's on Twitter and on YouTube, and on Instagram. It's everywhere. But anyways, thank you so much. And sorry about canceling last week. It was just kind of, I just had to do it. There was no way, no way I could get everything done plus stream. And, you know, I would have felt super guilty if I'm in here streaming while my wife's doing like a bajillion things and knowing I have to do a bajillion things afterwards. Anyways, so yeah, happy late Halloween and happy November. If you notice, I shaved a little bit. Geeky Ran usually gives me crap when I do, but I kind of had to for my my outfit last week, so I'm kind of letting it come back. We'll see. We'll see how much. I think I let it go like big time last time you saw me. So anyways, last video, that's where I was kind of like, whoa, buddy, how far is this going to go? So anyways, happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome. If it's your first time, thank you so much for coming all the way, probably from YouTube over here, to hang out. This stream is pretty laid back. We talk about things we're working on, things we're excited about in tech, things we're struggling with. If you're working on one of my tutorials, possibly something that you might need help with. But overall, just a place to chat. So if you have something you want to share, you have something you want to talk about, absolutely throw it in chat and we'll get to it. I'll start from the top and we'll go to the bottom. I do apologize. I'm feeling a little bit off today. I was going to do this stream sitting down because I have a pounding headache. And I was like, it feels a little bit better when I'm sitting, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stand. I'm just going to power through it. Hopefully it goes away. I can already feel like it's getting a little bit better. Hey! Black Bogon Network. Hey, thanks for the resub Prime 6 month. Thank you so much. Hey, Yakto, you using mobile VPN router? the barrel. I don't know what's going on there. I think I only understood Yakto in there. But I'll get into follows and subs here in a second. Thank you so much. And yeah, hype train. But anyways, if you're new here, yeah, I already said that. If you're returning, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Let's chat. Let's talk about stuff. Real quick, I'll start on weather. Weather in the Midwest has been fantastic up until yesterday. Not that it was bad, it just got cold. We had a thunderstorm come through, and now it's like, 43 degrees out. Up until then, it's been 60s, but it's gonna get back into the 60s here soon. So this is like my favorite autumn in a long time. My favorite. Hey, dude, Kiki Ran. Oh man, Kiki Ran gifted 5 tier 1 subs. I'll call it out real quick and I'll go through them all here in a second. But Kiki Ran, thank you so much. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Kelson, Exalarule, Exal URL. I'm going with that. Grencies, Lestertine, and Hey Fairchild. Enjoy your gifted stuff from Gifty Rand. From Gifty Rand, I like it. Geeky Rand, Gifty Rand. I'm gonna start calling him Gifty Rand because he keeps gifting subs. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. But yeah, so weather has been fantastic. This is like my favorite time of year is fall or autumn, and the 60s are just hanging on here in Minnesota, and I love it. It's great. But we all know that winter's just around the corner. So anyways, let's get into chat. I'm going to call off all of the activities that have happened right before the stream and while the stream kicked off. Thank you so much. Still on the hype train. Thank you. But yeah, if you have something you want to share, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. Roughly go about an hour, and then yeah, we'll try to get through it. So sorry if I keep taking like weird breaths. I'm just I feel like I have a cold coming on or something, and like I mentioned, my headache. But anyways, let's see real quick. So right before the stream, we had a couple of follows. So Kelson, Carcass, Kingy Cookie, Jeff Fodsd, Big Tuna. I like it. Thank you so much for the follow. PC Geek is resub, tier 1, 26 month streak. Let's go. Holy cow, let's go is what he said. Dude, thank you so much, man. 26 months, a year and 2 years and 2 months. I can math today. I can kind of math. Grog Malblood, resub, tier 1, 2 months streak. Thank you so much. 2 months of subbing. Woo! Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Jenna Ryan, resub. Tier 1, 24 months. 2 years, man. Dude, thank you so much, Jenna Ryan. Thank you. Block Bog on Networks, talked about that. Resub, Prime, 6 months. Thank you so much. Geeky Rand, gifted subs. And another one rolled in. T. Kari of ET is resubbed. Tier 1, 2 months, 2 month streak. Thank you so much. Love the info, helpfulness, and overall vibe. Keep it up, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Man, it feels great to be back. Even though I only missed like 1 week, it feels great to be back. Things have been kind of a roller coaster lately with a lot of stuff going on. And so, yeah, speaking of a lot of stuff going on, I mentioned this on Twitter and I mentioned it on here many times. But I got a new server rack, and it is all in the basement, all laid out, ready to be assembled. I started unpacking it last night. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome, and it's probably one you may not have seen before. It's brand new. It's brand spanking new. I mean, it still has the plastic on it. I had to unbox it from the box. Like it came in like 6 different packages, and then on top of that, every box was wrapped in another box with like protective corners and foam. So it was like a box and a box and a box. And then I had my parts and then all shrink wrap and foam wrapped and everything. I spent at least an hour just unboxing everything. It took a while, but it's pretty awesome. I'm super excited for it. I can't wait for it. I'm gonna, putting the video together. I'm putting it together and I can't wait to share it with you. It's super exciting. Because I've had my rack that I've had now for like 3 years, I think 3 years or something like that. It's kind of hard to let this one go. But I found one that I for me, I think personally is better. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Anyways, I won't spoil too much. Maybe I'll throw some pictures up on Twitter. Maybe not the full thing, but because I still want you guys to watch the video. But man, I'm super excited. The one thing I didn't prepare for though is like, oh, now I need all new cable lengths and I gotta rerun cables. That's the one piece where I was like, oh yeah, that's the part about racking I don't really enjoy. So, but I need to do it right. So I will. So anyways, man, so let's get into chat. Let's see who's in here. Let's see who's first. I know who was here first. I was testing this morning. This afternoon, right before I got in. So I was here first, but I know who was here that was not me, and it was Grog Malblood. Banana for scale. He saw my testing, my test command for banana, and he said, banana for scale. I was like, yeah, it's so great. I didn't even think about that. How's it going? Good to see you. Lesser teen. I got to get this run. Lesser terrain. I'm going to say that. Lesser terrain. Not first, Grog Malblood was, and as he mentioned, Akatha, aka the Sky. Oh, I was going to say Akathaski. Oh man, but aka the Sky. I caught it right at the end. Thanks for being here. How's it going? JCX, how's it going? Good to see you. Hello. Greetings. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Touch base. Hello. What's going with MTBB Bet? Hello from, I think that's Albuquerque, maybe. I think it's Albuquerque. How's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. JCX Live, I can see Tim smiling in the video. Yeah, that glass, I saw that comment come in. Yeah, I was totally smiling. It totally was. It like when I heard that chime, it just put a smile on my face, and I was like, yeah, I need to do this because I still have a headache. I had a headache all morning, and I was like, I don't know, but I was like, I got to do it. So yeah, like I mentioned, let me know what you guys are working on. Let's talk about it. A lot of greetings. Hello. Everybody's excited. That's awesome. We're excited for November. Excited for the stream. Or excited for something. Grog Malblood. Hey, Techno Tim. Back from vacation and picking back up on the homelab next week. Currently working through catching up on my job. Awesome. I assume vacation, hopefully somewhere nice. I know how it is to get behind in life in general. Whenever you go on vacation, I feel like, especially me too, and you probably do too, and most people feel this way. When you go on vacation, you almost need a vacation from the vacation. You need a day or two to recoup. And then on top of that, you have to get back to life, which includes usually a job. and then like some other set of stuff that you do outside of your job. So I hear you. I hear you. It seems like the older I get and the more I go on vacation, if at all, the more I have to do when I get back to get caught up on. So yeah, it's tough. Torquemada, hey, how's it going? Risa, Prime, 10 months, 1 month streak. Thank you so much, Torquemada. Thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, hopefully you get caught back up. Welcome back. Back to the grind. And yeah, you got this. JCX Life, getting a bit of our data into TrueNAS and something to back up the workstations. Nice. Tried to get a bit of sleep, but lots of fireworks tonight. Guys, Guy Fawkes Night, bonfire night over here. Oh, gotcha. A lot of fireworks. Interesting. I thought those were figurative, but you mean literal fireworks. Yeah, I hope you get some rest. I know what you mean about the fireworks. Like sometimes randomly they go off here too, and it's tough. Not for me, I don't mind them so much, but my dog hates them, and so then like my dog's going crazy, so I gotta like settle him down. But hope you get some rest. Awesome, you're moving stuff into TrueNAS and figuring out a way to back up stuff. That's pretty awesome. Gnomes, migration from Proxmox to XCPNG. Awesome. You'll have to let me know how that goes. I know that XCPNG is a favorite of a lot of people. It's a favorite of a lot. Especially, Tom Lawrence, from Lawrence Systems. He's a huge fan. I think he's all in with XCPNG. You'll have to let me know. I wonder if there's a way to migrate your virtual machines, period. If there's a way to migrate, or if it's a build and rebuild, or if you could use those virtual machine images and import them, and if not, use some kind of, if not, worst case scenario, use like a P2V client, even though it's V2V, virtual to virtual, use a physical to virtual client to migrate those over. I've done that before. I've done a P2V virtualization migration from a real physical device to virtual device. But then when I moved from Hyper-V to ESXi, I used their P2V client, even though I was doing virtual to virtual, which still works. I mean, it just works. They market it for you, giving you a path to virtualization, but really it'll work on any machine that's running. I don't know if XCPNG has that, but would be cool to know. But the best way is going to do it. The best way to do it, obviously, is to import those images somehow and then rejigger the hardware, the virtual hardware. But I don't know what virtualization tools they use. Probably something similar. But awesome, sounds awesome. I don't know enough about XCPNG. I know that they've been revving a lot. I know it's getting a lot of attention, and it's getting a lot better for sure. Kai, lol, how's it going, Kai? Good to see you. I'm going with MTI. I'm going to stick with MTI. Neo, Vim, config, and use. Nice. Neo Vim, nice. Homelab docs to GitHub. Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a good day. Nice chill day. Chill day for me would be exactly that. Messing with terminal configuration, and then using it, making it better, and then documenting stuff. That sounds like a super chill day for me, for sure. Yakto, how's it going? Howdy, folks. Good to see you, man. How's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Piece of geek, how's it going? Raider Luke, hi there. How's it going? Good to see you. JCX, I had to build a new TrueNAS box since my virtualized version with a pass-through LSI card decided to not work and bugged out during a scrub. Oh, that stinks. And so far, so good in a dedicated box. That is awesome. That is awesome. Fortunately for me, I haven't had those issues. I've been virtualizing mine ever since I made that first video years ago. It was one of my first videos on YouTube. I'm still virtualizing mine, but as I have that server back there, obviously not in the rack yet because I haven't built the new rack. TBD. I'm still trying to decide. Does it become like a dedicated, TrueNAS box, or does it, become a Proxmox box, and then I virtualize TrueNAS. So still have some deciding to do on that, but I'd love to know your thoughts on any differences besides it working. But I'd love to know your thoughts if you notice any performance or anything, becomes easier by doing a virtual. I know there's a long list of just things in general. When it's physical, you don't have to worry about rebooting the host, doesn't reboot the guest machine, but curious to know. Ilika Camejo. That's what I'm going with. Hello from Chile. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for being here all the way from Chile. Thank you so much. JCX Life. So what were you for Halloween then? For those that don't use social media. I was Elvis, actually. It was kind of a long shot. But yeah, that's true. So if you don't use social media. I was Elvis. My wife, she loves Halloween, and she always has a big, long list of stuff. And we try to coordinate when we can. There are times when we didn't. But this year, I thought we were coordinating. So when she said to me, like, hey, do you want to be this? Do you want to be this? Do you want to be this? I thought she was giving me a long list of things that I could be. Not that she decides for me, but she has great ideas. She was giving me a long list of things I could be for Halloween that I thought in her head that she was also coordinating, what she was going to be. And I was like, cool, and some of them I was like, I don't know if people will get it, and then she said Elvis. And I was like, we watched the Elvis movie this year. It's pretty good. And so I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, it's totally relevant this year because the movie came out. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Come to find out, like 2 days later when I was like, so I assume you're going to be Priscilla, right? She's like, no. I'm going to be Napoleon Dynamite. I was like, what? So anyways, after we synced up, I stuck with Elvis and she switched. So anyways, that's what I was. It was super fun. I had this huge wig. Actually, the wig is around here somewhere. I'm not going to put it on, but the wig totally made it. I mean, it also made me about 5 inches taller, which I had to duck to get under doors. But anyways, it was super fun. And we had lots of friends come, and it was just a good time. It was a good time. We haven't had like a big party with a lot of different people in years here at this house, so it was nice to see a lot of people. So, but yeah, that's what I was. Yakto, here in a hotel room trying to get started on my extra live streaming. Nice, awesome. So you're gonna stream, awesome. Don't know why you're in a hotel room. Probably awesome. You're gonna stream in a hotel room. Probably awesome. But Extra Life is definitely awesome. So they're an organization that helps coordinate donations to your favorite charities. And so, yeah, it's so awesome, man. I hope it goes well. I'll definitely stop in. I know what your Twitch name is. So I'll stop in later on today and check it out. Hopefully there's some cool stuff going on. I have no idea it's streaming in a hotel room. I'm sure it's just, you're on location or you have to travel for something. But yeah, you could go wild with that one. Let's see, Vronsky. But I'll stop in, dude. I'll stop in for sure. Vronsky, Techno Tim, looking into self-hosting my own MQTT broker, and I came across Mosquito. But are there any you would recommend you've messed with MQTT? No, the two that I hear are Mosquito and I think Rabbit. I think those are the two. I haven't used MQTT. I get I totally understand the concept, message bus, queuing system. Like, I totally get it. I've used, been a consumer of Kafka for a while, but that's super enterprise. But this MQTT or any service that's based on the protocol is a much smaller scale. Rabbit and MQTT. I know that there are lots of folks in this channel who use them. I think PC Geek and I think Geeky Rand are people who use them, along with a lot of other people in our Discord too. So they'd probably have better advice than I do. I'm just naming off the two that I hear come up a lot. Well, but yeah, I'd look into one of those only because they're popular, not because they're right or the best. But that's probably where I'd start. But Mosquito or Mosquito, like you mentioned, is one I hear come up a lot. Rabbit's the other. Grog Malblood, I really like the scruff. Oh yeah. You liked. Okay, liked. Past tense. Okay, I see where we're going here. Now, it's coming back. I just had to shave. This for me is scruff. After that, it is borderline, pirate. So hopefully that comes back soon. That will. My camera, it's flashing today. I don't know why. It was doing this earlier. So hopefully it comes back on when it does that. Geeky Rand, I cut off 9 inches from my beard. I know the feeling. I gotta see this because you had a pretty long, healthy beard, and you take care of it too. Not me. Mine was just like mine like curls up and goes. Mine, I feel like gets to a certain point, and then I feel like it doesn't grow anymore. I don't know, because it like kind of curls up. So it just takes like months and months and months to even like grow this much. And plus I don't have a lot of like facial hair anyways. This is like the most I get. And then it just kind of curls. So I'm not like, I don't know. The longer I wait, it's not like it's filling in different places. It's just curling in, and then it kind of looks like that. But anyways, I got to see it, man. I got to see it. 9 inches, dude. That was ZZ Top, man. ZZ Top. Oh, man, I got to see it. Got to see it. Maybe when you plow your, don't want to say the plow word. I shouldn't have said it. I don't want to say the S word. Snow. I said it. But maybe when you blow out your driveway in your unicorn outfit, you could show us the beard too. Man, for a while I didn't think that was really you. I thought you were just finding some picture on the internet, and you still could be fooling me too. But pretty awesome, man. Grog Malbud, wish I could rock the beard as well. You can. I mean, 'tis the season, isn't it? Like Movember. You kind of say you're doing Movember, but don't. I don't know. I was pretty close because I did shave, not clean, on Halloween. That day, I did it down to like 2 or 1. I don't know. I use hair clippers for everything, so even for my face because I don't have much. But I'm just gonna let it go too. So hopefully by, I don't know, December, I'll kind of look like I did before. Blade WR, I gave up on a beard. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. Like, as you can see, like this, I don't have much. I mean, I'm not young. And so I think this is the most I'm ever going to get in my life. It'll probably start falling out next. But it's tough. You just got to let it go. And you can't, I don't know, just keep letting it grow and take care of it and never trim it. Don't trim it. Don't trim it until it's like, way longer. But, Geeky Rant has better beard tips than I do because I can't grow anything. I mean, he cut 9 inches off. I mean, that means he was probably rocking about 14 then. I live with the baby face. I know what you mean, but this is not a baby face. Hopefully, I tried to do that. I'm sure you look great with a baby face. Me, it just doesn't look right. I don't know. I need at least this. This is like my minimum. Kai, I would love to hear a discussion about a single board PCs like a Raspberry Pis and others. Which ones would you use for what purpose? I got 2 purposes where I would like to use for a Quorum and Proxmox HA cluster and for a single monitoring running Grafana dashboard. Yeah. I mean, let me grab a drink. I mean, this comes up a lot. Like what do I do with my Raspberry Pi? I have one. What do I do with it now? And what can I do with that I couldn't do with a PC or vice versa or a server? Mix and match. I mean, there are a bajillion of projects that you could do. I mean, you just Google Raspberry Pi projects. That's great. I have heard of this Proxmox HA Quorum cluster tiebreaker. But I'm not sure if it's needed anymore because I think, at least for me, so I ran Proxmox 2-node for a long time. Wasn't HA. They were clustered, though, so it wasn't HA, so maybe that's why. But I think that when you run 2, one node gets 2 votes, so you don't run into the, hey, I need an odd number of nodes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what Proxmox did. If not, I'm talking out of my other end. But I thought that's what they did. I could be wrong. But in the case where you're talking about like, hey, you want to run HA, you only have 2 nodes, and so you're going to run, I forget what it's called. It's like core. I forget what it is. But you want to run Quorum. You want to run this CoroSync. There we go. You want to run CoroSync on that device to be the tiebreaker in the case that 2 nodes come up or down at the same time, so that the CoroSync is technically the one vote to then vote for someone else to say whoever comes up first, you're going to be the lead of this cluster. So, yeah, I mean, that works. I mean, I haven't done it. I've seen the Raspberry Pi project out there. Should work, should do exactly that. But I would try without first. See if you really need that with 2-node. And then just, have your Pi as a backup just in case. Because like I said, I didn't run HA, but mine were clustered, and maybe that's why. And mine ran fine. But I guess you don't need an odd number of nodes because there's nothing to vote on if you're non HA. Anyways, And for a single monitoring running Grafana dashboard, yeah, that'll work fine too. I've noticed whenever I get into logging or monitoring and stuff, that's where you start to hit the limits of what a Raspberry Pi can do. And it's not because it's not capable. It's might be capability, but it's just not powerful enough at some point. Or, the SD card that you have on it can't read and write fast enough. And so those are some of the things that you'll run into. It's either going to be not enough compute or disks aren't fast enough. You can fix the disks aren't fast enough by using, a SATA drive or a USB to SATA, or name your hat that you want to put on there. So that might fix the disk issue, but sometimes you just don't have enough to compute to crunch what you want to do. You're only doing a dashboard in Grafana, so I think that should be fine. That should be fine. I mean, I ran a Kubernetes node on one for a while, and it ran my WordPress blog for, I don't know, days before I realized that it was running on that node because I never put any affinity or taints on it. And it was doing that just fine. Granted, it didn't have the database on there. It was only WordPress, and I have caching on my stuff already, but it held up. So I mean, your mileage may vary. It depends on what the workload is. And you could very simply install your workload, run a HTOP or something like that, see how much compute it's using, and see if you're pegging the CPUs. And it also depends on the version you're using. Is it the newer Pi 4, or, where it has 8 cores, more RAM? So all that stuff will come into play. But for most of the time, for me right now, what's running on my Pis? First, I have that little, I don't even know what to call it, my LED panel back there that has a node service that I wrote that listens for notifications and shows them back there. If you change the lights, if you give bits, sub, all that stuff, it'll light up back there. And so that's one job I did. I had to connect a hat and LED panel to it. But another one of mine is it's kind of weird, but it's my third Pi-hole node in kind of a cluster. My primary DNS is a physical machine inside of my server rack. My secondary DNS is VIPed, so it's VIPed. And then behind that VIP, there are two Pi-hole servers. One's inside of my server rack, and then one's on a Raspberry Pi. And the reason I do that is in case my whole entire server rack goes down, that my Raspberry Pi will still be on the network to provide DNS. Otherwise, I'm not going to be doing anything on the internet besides pinging stuff. And so that's another use case. Pi-hole is great for that. Pi-hole is pretty light. I mean, the UI isn't the lightest, but as far as resolving DNS and caching and stuff like that, it's great because most of the stuff is running in RAM. The UI is a different story. That could be a little bit slower, but the job of DNS itself and doing resolution is pretty okay. And then there's one more job I have. And then one is running some Docker containers, just ones that I have. And that's how I've been able to test out scale without going super crazy, is load up another Docker container on this Raspberry Pi. How is it doing? Monitor it for a little while, and if it's okay, just add some more. So, and then I have the Pi Zero, like the original Pi Zero, and all it's doing is just pinging some of my servers, looking for a response. If it doesn't get a response, it'll try to wake on LAN and wake them up because my servers should be on, and it just has this long shell script that is very not the greatest, but it's on my GitHub, where it tries to ping a machine, try to wake the machine, and if all else fails, it's gonna reboot itself and do that over and over and over again. So, and there are also some performance hacks you can do too, like I just started doing that I found. There's a actual I don't know, a package that will log all of your var log to RAM, which saves on writing. And that's more of a hack to save, your SD card. But at the same time, it's a lot faster to write to RAM too, read and write from RAM than it is to disk. And so that'll help save your SD card if you're using one. But at the same time, you get a tiny bit of performance from reading that. Anyways, there's a ton of stuff you can do. But I mean, nothing is gonna tell you what will and won't work unless you try it. unless you try it, or if you have someone who has data behind all this stuff and knows exactly and has tested exactly what you want to do. So yeah, good question, Kai. But your mileage may vary, but the nice thing about a Raspberry Pi is like it's a tiny compute board. You could do whatever you want with it, and if you don't like it, wipe it and try something else. And so it's very accessible and very well. And if you have one, it's accessible, but you can do a ton of stuff. So, anyways. JCX, things struggling with. I kind of have the feeling I don't fit in anywhere with other humans. Hey, I kind of feel like that too. I think a lot of people have that a lot of time. I know I feel like that. I feel like that a ton, all the time. It's as strange as that sounds. I do. I feel like that a lot. I go to parties. I don't have a lot to say other than tech stuff, and if I go to a party and there's no other tech people there, I'm kind of like, I have nothing to talk about because that's what I love and that's what I love doing. And, so I feel that way too. So you're not alone. Happens to me. I mean, ask my wife. I'm always just like, I don't know what to say to people, like if they're not into tech, and nothing against them. It's just me. It's just because of what I focused on for so long. So I get it. I have that a lot too. Block Boggle Networks from a hotel room. Keep it safe. Yeah. Raider Luke, have you ever handled? I like it. Have you ever handled MikroTik routers? I have not. I've done. What have I done? I've done Cisco routers, Cisco switches, and then Unify routers, Unify switches, and then a bunch of tiny home ones that don't really matter. But I haven't. They seem great. People love them. Great price, great feature set, great value. I mean, what's not to love about that? So that's what I hear about them. Overall, what I hear about them is they're solid and great value. But then you hear all the I don't know, some people who want to run them in an enterprise, want a different warranty or a way to support them. I don't know if that's there or not. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's some of the the cons I hear about it. Like they want some kind of support to support these devices, and I don't know who does or anything like that. But great value. I mean, if you look at a lot of their switches, you get a ton of stuff for the price. So, yeah. Dark Forever must have missed me. I'm sorry. Did I miss you? I'm looking. I don't know where I missed you. But I don't see it. If it's in events, I'm looking there. I don't see it. And if it's in comments, I scrolled up. But just throw it back in chat again. I'll look. I do apologize if I missed something. J6 Life, yeah, Gifty for hand. That's sometimes sometimes the wrong thing comes out, but it's the right thing. GCX Live, it's now officially Canon. Canon like the camera? Let's see. Yeah, Max LOL for sure. Gifty Rand, I like it. Let's see. Block Boggle Networks, yeah, I use L2TP to back to home. Oh, gotcha. All right, for your VPN or your tunnel. G6 Life, I only got 3 days left on my Twitch sub. Don't really want to give my card to Twitch. LOL. Just here to support them. It's all good. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Geeky Rand, enough with the chit chat. Let's see your rack. Oh, I mean, right now it's in pieces. In the basement, I have lights set up. My next video, you're going to see like my basement, and it's going to seem kind of like a creepy basement. Because I have no other way to do this. I can't build this server rack inside of the server room because there's a rack in there. The quote unquote grow room isn't big enough for 2 racks. And then I was like, I know, I'll just build it up here, build it in here, film it in here, then I'll carry it down. That's not going to work because I just picked up the part of the frame, one of the 5 boxes, and I was like, ooh, this is kind of heavy. And I was thinking, there's no way this fully assembled with the doors and everything, I can carry it down 3 flights of stairs. No way. That's like a death trap. So yeah. I didn't have a great way to do it live. I don't have a great way to do it live. I could figure something out, but I'm going to have to do it just record it and put it on YouTube. But we'll see. Maybe I can, I don't know. I'll figure something out. But my basement, don't judge me. Looks a little creepy. I'm gonna make it look a little bit better because 3/4 of it is unfinished and it's storage. That's how most Minnesota basements are. They're mostly if you have an older home like I do, it's from the 20s. They look kind of creepy. And there's not much you can do about them too. So unless you want to spend a lot of money. So anyways, I'm working on it. Show us the rack. I wish I could. You gonna do time-lapse assembly unboxing? Yeah, I think that's nothing is excluded. Yeah, I think so for sure. That's gonna be part of it because honestly, it's probably gonna take me multiple hours to build this rack. I'm kind of slow at stuff because I read instructions over and over and over. And this one, the instructions on them are pretty terse. There are a lot of photos, which are great, but sometimes when they show the whole device pulled apart in 3D and screws go here, I'm just kind of like, oh, and it's one of those types of diagrams. So, but yeah, definitely I'm gonna capture as much as I can. Lou, yeah. You met Rand. Have you met Rand? I want to. Boxception. I like it. Flash the geeky Rand. Yeah, for sure. With a torch. Still counts. Let's see. Great show for sure. Yeah, I get the reference too. JCX Life, I enjoy cabling so much back when I could do it. Yeah, I don't hate it. I just don't like it when I don't have the right size cables or I don't have a great plan. And at least with my current rack, it's an open frame. Hint, hint. My next one is not an open frame. With an open frame, you can cheat with cables. You're like, oh, you want to bring in this power from the side of the whole entire open frame? Sure. You want to bring in, cables from the top and cables from the side and from the bottom and underneath? Sure. And that's what I've done because the entry point is wherever you want. Now that I won't have, an open frame one, I'll have an enclosed one. It's going to be pretty nice because there's dedicated place to run cables in. So anyways, it helps guide where the cables go. So I'm super excited for it for sure. But maybe I'll enjoy it more. My problem is most of the time I don't have the right size. So I'm like, I need to go 3 feet. I don't have a 3-footer. So I just grab a 6-footer and then I just have this extra cable everywhere. And it's kind of like, oh man. But now that it's going to be enclosed, I can hide all that from people, which is super nice. What to do? AKA the sky. Good at 2 a.m. of the night in India. Love from India. Forehead. Love from the U.S. It's 2 a.m. in India. Get some sleep for sure. Thanks for joining in, AKA the sky. Blade WR. I like cabling. Other people's setups. I like it. I like that too. I guess I could get behind that. I kind of like doing other people's stuff too because it's kind of just like you come in there, you either build or cable, and then you kind of like, yep. or you can point and tell people what to do. You're just kind of like, okay, put that in there and zip tie that and then do. Not that you're really going to boss people around, but yeah, I could see that for sure. I don't like taking down mine. Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of where I'm at. And another thing I realized about getting the server rack, I'm super excited for the server rack, but I'm not super excited to break down my existing and move everything over. I'm complaining now. Let's see, Man of War. Do you recommend any tools for documentation? My home lab is starting to get to the point where I can't keep track of everything in my head. Yeah, I kind of. So I'm a huge fan of Markdown. I use Markdown and I keep a lot of my stuff in Markdown and I keep it in a GitHub repo, to be honest. And I keep it there. And that's where I keep a lot of my documentation. I don't keep secrets in it or anything like that. That's stored somewhere else. But if you know Markdown, it's nice because you get a lot of great formatting. Where I've struggled with a lot of the other note-taking apps, they're not great. They're great for clipping things off the web, kind of, sort of, but they're not great for either code or diagrams or any type of formatting. Like, for instance, I've used OneNote in the past. I've used Evernote. I've used Google Keep. I've used Notion. And all of them, for some reason, every time you copy and paste something from the web or from somewhere else, they always want to copy your source formatting. And I don't want that ever, ever, ever. I just give me the text. Give me the text. I'll do the formatting myself, or I don't care about formatting. You know, I copy from VS Code. I run dark mode. I paste it in one of those note-taking apps, and boom, there's like some awkwardly dark and, you know, colored background and font and all of that. So anyways, I'm weird like that, but I like doing my stuff in Markdown. I write tons of Markdown because of all of my Git repos. You know, they all have READMEs or what have you, change logs. So I'm very comfortable with that. So I would just recommend, if you can and want to learn Markdown, there's probably only about 4 or 5 things from the syntax you actually need. You know, unordered list, heading, code snippet, you know, and that's about it. And I would say go that route if you can. If you can, there are tools out there that can help you write Markdown, but you don't have to write a Markdown. But I like also keeping mine in a Git repo because I have history, because I have versioning, and you get everything you get from a Git repo. So I manage my documentation as code pretty much. To me, it's kind of code. Not that it actually does anything with the code, but that's kind of how I manage it. But I'm also a developer too, so like I feel super comfortable with VS Code and Git. So for me, it's very easy. But if you don't know Git, don't know VS Code's super great. Hey, Grog Malblood resub tier 1, 2 months streak, 2 months of subbing. Woo! Didn't that already happen? I thought that already happened. Oh, because that wasn't him. I didn't scroll. Oh my goodness. So let's, that's what happens when you don't scroll. Real quick, the Black Sector, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Homelab New. What's up, man? Has resub tier 1, 25 months, 1 month streak, 25 good months. Thanks for everything, Tim. Dude, Homelab New, how are you doing? How you been? Are you in the US or UK? What's going on, man? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Anyways, Man of War. That's what I do. It's probably not the best suggestion, but it's great. It's great. Yocto, yeah, Netbox. Netbox is great too. Netbox is your all-in-one for IP address management, networking, all of that. For sure, it is. It's a great tool. That's a good point. Good point. Rack management, everything. Let's see, Dr. Brontax. That's what I'm going with. Repurposing an old computer into an S. Perfect job for an old computer, especially if it's a lot older and uses less power. Perfect job for it. Sounds awesome. And old computers are great for it too, especially if you use TrueNAS or anything with ZFS, is because you don't need a RAID adapter. You just need a JBOD, just a bunch of disks, and build your array in software with ZFS. So old computers are fantastic for RAIDs, for sure. PC Geek, building a new gaming PC soon. Awesome, man. That is awesome. You told me a little bit about it. Yeah, I'm super excited for you. That is awesome. I think this is the year I'm going to do something similar to, and not gaming. It's this PC. It's the everything PC. But awesome. I think you're going pretty big on it. I think you told me some of your stats. You have to let me know how it goes. But I think you're switching to Intel too. I won't spoil everything. But yeah, sounds awesome, man. I'm super excited to do the same thing. If you haven't seen, Craft Computing released a video this morning on the Intel 13900K, exactly what I want to get. So I watched the video, and it's great, by the way. But I think that's going to be my next workstation build. But I won't spoil it in the video. I have some of the same concerns he does. I'll leave it at that. So you should totally watch it after the stream if you haven't already. JCX Life, Man of War. Best documentation in my experience is the thing you're most willing to update. The kind of method doesn't matter. Keeping it up to date is important. Yeah, I totally agree. 100% agree with that. It's like, a lot of people always ask, like, what's the best tool for the job? And it's like the tool you'll use, and it's in that same, I think that same regard. Like, it's going to be the tool you use and the system you use and how you keep it up and maintain it. So yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. There are lots of tools, but if one is new and shiny and you start using it for a couple of days and you don't use it later on, then may not have been the best tool for you. So, but yeah, use what works. For me, I talked a little bit about what works for me, but Use what works and use what you'll continue to use for sure. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. Yeah, we celebrate someone years ago trying to blow up Parliament years. Oh, okay, all right. Your dog is a pyromaniac. He's just scared. He is scared for sure. With gunpowder, hence the fireworks celebrate and burn effigy on a bonfire. I mean, that's what our 4th of July here in the U.S. is to celebrate, our independence from Britain. So it's a similar vein. Roland. I'm gonna go with Roland. Roll foreign. Sorry. Hey Tim, have you got into the Nix rabbit hole yet? Nix by like Linux? I think maybe that's what you mean. Nix in general? Yeah, I think so. If that's what you mean, I have. Yeah, I have been for a long time. I've done a lot of Linux stuff in my life. Most of it has been for personal for a long time. When I used to distro hop every weekend for fun and check out new distros of everything. I'd go to Distro Watch, download stuff. My firewalls and routers have been open source, self-hosted, self-maintained Linux distributions. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. And, now that most of the world is, running things on Linux too, as far as services go, and even a lot of other things. Yeah, I've been doing a ton there too, because I do a ton of Kubernetes, done a ton of Docker, and all of that runs on some flavor of Linux. So yeah, it's yes, I've been there. I'm still in it. I'm not coming up. Lesser terrain. I got an Dell PowerEdge R610. I set up a K3S with redundant Postgres. Great, awesome. Any suggestions on setting up failover and load balancing? Funny you mentioned this because I was going through something similar this morning, making sure that my load balanced Mongo databases do failover. Yes. So if you're using Postgres, you have redundant Postgres. Failover and load balancing, if you use this Helm chart, and I can post it somewhere, called Cloud Native PG. Cloud Native PG makes a Helm chart for Postgres that actually does all of this for you. It's one of the best. So it's an operator. So it's kind of in a higher order than pods or services. It's basically a service that coordinates failovers, backups, you name it, and it does it all for you. And the nice thing about this operator is they've basically automated what a human operator would do if something went wrong. Say, for instance, on most databases, if one of your databases comes out of the cluster, it's out of sync, and it'll be like in a fault state until you bring it back in to the cluster and run some repair commands or transaction commands to bring all your transactions up to the latest that the cluster has. I'm probably explaining this really weird. But the Cloud Native PG does all of that for you. You can take one out of the cluster, you can delete it, destroy it, whatever you want to do. It'll bring one up. It will replay all the transactions. Once it's up to par, it'll put it back in the cluster, and you'll be good to go. So by far, that Cloud Native PG one for Postgres is the best database operator that I've seen out there. It's the one I have zero problems with. It's the one I don't even worry about anymore. And that's what you want. That's what you want with clustering and load balancing. I should just say clustering, because it's not doing technically load balancing. But that's what I use, and it's great. And there's similar things like Galera and for MySQL or MariaDB, and then there's things also for MongoDB, but none of them does them as graceful as this does. So I'm a huge fan of that one. I wish everyone would make their operators like that, because that's where I want to be. I don't want to, if one of my database pods goes down on any one of my machines, I don't want to have to do some kind of manual intervention to bring it back into the cluster. I want an operator, a Kubernetes operator, to do that for me. And it's super cool, and it does do that. One other thing I will recommend, though, too, if you are going this route and you are putting databases in Kubernetes, and you are going to run multiple instances of it, is set affinity or node selectors on that pod. And so what does that mean? That means that like I typically put a affinity or a rule into place to say, hey, only run one replica of this database on this node. And so if you have 5 nodes, what you don't want to have happen is all of those replicas of the pods to hop on one node because it has the most resources, you know, and that could happen because Kubernetes just schedules. It's like, okay, who's got capacity? Who's got capacity? There you go. You got capacity. And what you don't want to have happen is all 3 of your replicas to go on that one node. So you put in some affinity rules and you basically say, hey, only one replica per node. And so Kubernetes will say, hey, I know what you're speaking. So, you know, node 1, 3, and 5 all get a pod or all get a replica and they'll run there. And you want to put that in place too, because if you don't, and that one node goes down with all of them, you're going to be in some trouble. So anyways, that will help with the failover. That will also help with performance, and that will also help with getting them back up if one dies. And so that if you're applying patches or rebooting, you just didn't take your database offline because all of those replicas happen to be on one node. So that's what I do. That's what I do. So yeah. Let me grab a drink. Sorry. Let's see. Blade WDR could also use something like Clonezilla. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way too. It's so simple. I didn't think of that. Thank you, Blade WR. Absolutely. This is going back to migrating from Proxmox to XCP-ng, or really migrating any physical to virtual or virtual to virtual, however you want to think about it. Clonezilla would be great. You just boot up that first machine, capture the image to, a share or something or somewhere. And then, on the other machine, fire up Clonezilla and do a restore there. Yeah, good call for sure. PC Geek, there is a conversion tool for XCP-ng, supports QCOW2 formats too, if I recall correctly. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. I wasn't sure, but awesome. That is awesome. Blade, yeah, I've used that before. Yeah, great recommendation. I was going with something way too complicated, and I needed to step back and think about it. And that is exactly right. I mean, that's how I used to do it back in the day, and I don't know why that's still not the default answer for me. JCX, I've also been tweaking my VM speed settings to improve Windows 10 guest performance. My CPU score went from 1800 to 2000. Nice, with appropriate tweaks, as well as other bits of it were better, not just the CPU. Awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, it's always nice to see your CPU-Z score go up when you do something in general. But yeah, awesome. Geeky Rant, everyone in chat, chant, show your rack. Oh man, I wouldn't be able to do it right now unless I went on mobile and walked into my basement. But JCX Live, MPS 0, doorbell wait not received or something like that. The controller wouldn't reset after it locked up on the VM and had to restart the host again, and ultimately just built a new box. Yeah. Doorbell wait noise not received. Oh, that stinks. So you're talking about your virtualized NAS. That stinks. Korblin, Guten Abend from Germany, Berlin. Good evening. That's good evening, right? Yeah. Because Guten Tag and Guten Abend. Yeah, good evening. Good evening to you too. I don't know why I salute when I say good evening to people or good afternoon, but that's what I do. So Guten Abend, moin, right? No, I think they only say that in the afternoon. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. MDD, Grease Monkey. That's what I'm going. Sure, correct. No, I can't. I honestly, I don't have a way to do it easily. I if at all. Like I said, I'd have to stream from my phone somehow, and yeah, I would love to. Don't get me wrong. Like if my server rack was on this level of the house, I would be building it right now in the background because that's what I wanted to do. But I can't. PC Geek, hey, I do Extra Life. Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you. I don't know why I kind of know why that happened. All right, I know why that happened. The flashing was the last state. It's in my code. It's a bug in my code, but I kind of like that. But yeah, PC Geek does Extra Life. I was on today, but ran out of energy. I hear you, man. I hear you. Streaming, it takes a lot of energy out of you, more than you think. It's not just playing there, or sitting there playing games, or sitting there talking like I'm doing now. It takes a lot. It's definitely a mental exercise for sure, for sure. This was my 4th year. Awesome. JCX, all right, another one who I knew would know about MQTT. Mosquito has been good for me. Awesome. Mosquito and Node Red, there's another one for sure. PC Geek, I only know of Mosquito, don't know of any others. All right, there we go. And he says it works great. Phipps, hello from Switzerland. Hello. Good to see you. Franchise, how's it going, man? Good to see you. You're still doing the 100 days of homelab. Got another R720, using it to run TrueNAS bare metal. Nice. I think I saw that. I saw that on Twitter, and I think I saw it in our Discord. Also tried getting Plex to run via pod in Rancher. Keep running into issues with the Plex claim. Plex is available on the Rancher IP, but can't add libraries. Still looking into it. I'd like to get Kate's running for Kubernetes. Yeah, I mean, the Plex claim should be just an environment variable that you pass in. So, I don't know if you're using the official one or if you're using the linuxserver.io image, but I mean, Plex claim should be as easy as, passing in an environment variable. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know anything off the top of my head. I mean, I've had weird things with Plex before where it thinks that I'm actually going over the internet when I'm not. And so I had to add like a bunch of like a wildcard for IPs for my internal networks to say, hey, treat all these as internal and not external. But I haven't run into something with Plex claim, because that should be dead simple. Generate a token and then set that as an environment variable. So yeah, let me know. I hope you figure it out. Man of War. I shaved all my hair when it started going around 25, so a beard is a necessity for me. I like it. Yeah, if you can't grow it on top, grow it somewhere. I'm there with you, man. I'm there with you. Your hair just migrated. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Grow it if you got it anywhere. Save power. Yeah, I totally agree. This probably goes back to Raspberry Pis, but for sure, save power. Only if you have it set up that way, it still needs an odd number. Yeah, I didn't have to do anything for mine. I ran 2-node Proxmox for a long time, but again, I wasn't running true HA. I was running, they were just clustered. Let's see. JCX Life, you can give one of those nodes an extra vote on one of them. I have 2 Proxmox nodes and a Q device, Quorum, on a Pi or any device. Oh, so they can't complain. So they don't complain. I didn't want to give them one extra vote since one might be up when the other is down. Yeah, true, for sure. Otherwise, the cluster thinks it has the right configuration when it doesn't. Although if both of the clusters are online, they have Quorum, so technically not needed. But if one goes down, you can't make any changes. Yeah, good call, because you can't. Yeah, that is true. Block Mongo Networks, 2 things that I'm recently psyched about. U2F support in Proton, awesome. And the YubiKey discount combo from Cloudflare, picked up 4 at $10 each. Yeah, I saw that. Cloudflare slanging cheap YubiKeys. I think they're the NFC ones, and there's 2 types I think that they're selling for $10 each. Yeah, super cheap. I've considered getting one too at that price for sure. But is it true like the only way to back up a YubiKey is with another YubiKey? Like I get it, but that one might be. Ooh, that's kind of scary. I mean, good for security, but bad for me who loses stuff. I would have to like put one in a safe box somewhere, and it's the backup to my existing one. So you'll have to let me know your experiences with it too, because I know there's a lot of hype around it and people love it, and the security is very great around it. But I'm just curious how many people use it in their day-to-day, and are they using it as a hardware key instead of using multi-factor auth with like Authy or your one-time passwords. I'm curious too how many people have went all in and fully switched over and said, yes, I'm using this hardware key for everything. Because I'm curious to know, because there's a lot of hype around it. Kai, I just want to have an H8 cluster for my core apps like DNS, Unified Controller, and stuff. Right now, I have one server where everything runs off of. I've been there. But I wanted to add some NUC to use as a failover. Been there too. But then I would need a third vote. That's why the question for the single board PC. My question is now, what single board PC should I get? Yeah, I've been there. I used Intel NUC. I still have one back there, and I still have another one that ran Proxmox on it that I could migrate machines around or even run smaller workloads. But yeah, I think then at that point when I had 3, it was the third vote. So I don't know about a single board to use. I would go with something. It just depends on, you probably want virtualization. You basically want to build, I assume, another low-powered, Proxmox machine or virtualization server. So, yeah, you can get by with a little. You can get by with a little, especially for those workloads. If you start doing Kubernetes, you can get by with, an okay amount of hardware, mainly because, all your workloads are kind of small. And Kubernetes is going to figure out where they fit on all 3 of those nodes. So yeah. Anything I can get a hold of, really, Pies are a bit unobtainium right now. Yeah, for sure. That's why I said, they're not accessible right now, for sure. Price versus reliability and documentations of boards. Pies are like the iPhone of smartphones right now. iPhone to smartphones. Now I want to know which board is good to get good Android one. LOL. I don't know. You're gonna run some flavor of Android on there. I couldn't tell you. GCX Life. One of my friends used to swear by the Orange Pi at one point, but I don't know how accurate that is anymore. Oh yeah. Then there's the Le Patato Pi alternative. The potato. I like it. So Raspberry Pi versus Oat Pi versus Le Patato. Any recommendations? I don't. Snoopy. Why is DNS so fragile? I don't, because everything is based off of it. I don't know. My DNS is great. It's great. It's pretty much always right. It's me that's usually wrong. Because I didn't set something properly. I'm going against the wrong host name. So yeah, for me, it's usually very, very bulletproof. The problem is I'm the one that's usually wrong. But let me know, which DNS system? Are we talking core DNS and Kubernetes? Talking about Pi-hole? Or talking about Open DNS? Or talking about Microsoft DNS? There's a lot out there for sure. M's the bomb. How's it going? Heyo, Techno Tim and others. Been bored lately after work, so hanging out in the Discord. Thank you so much. So far, having a good time reading different channels, being able to help out people sometimes too. Cheers. Hey, M's the bomb. Thank you so much. I agree. There is so much great content in there, and there's so much inspiration in there. I love reading it. I mean, I look at it probably way too much, but yeah, I totally agree. I love every time I see something in the channel, one of the channels lit up. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the funny ones too, because who doesn't need a good tech meme every now and then? But I totally agree. Thanks for helping out. I thank you to everyone who helps out in there. It is definitely it's I don't know. For me, it's always heartwarming to see people having problems and people then going the extra mile to help them to figure stuff out too. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I totally agree. GCX Life, creepy would have worked for Halloween. For me, yeah, I know it was kind of creepy. No. The Black Sector. Hey, buddy, I do enjoy your YouTube videos very much, or really much. Hey, thank you so much, Black Sector. Thanks for coming here. Thanks for coming all the way over from YouTube to Twitch. And thanks for commenting and letting me know. Thank you so much. Blade, only cowards read instructions. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I get it. But here's the thing about instructions. Sometimes I don't read them because I don't think I could figure it out on my own. There's 2 reasons why I read them. One is because there are so many times that I've put something together without using them or just by glancing at them, only to realize that I have something on backwards that was on step 2, and now I have to take it all apart and put it back together. So I've done that with IKEA stuff twice, and I was just like, never again. The other part is I actually enjoy reading like instructions, like technical documentation for some reason. I don't know. People are always like, what books are you reading? I'm like, got any instruction manuals? For some reason, I really enjoy them. I think it goes back to like reading Nintendo game instructions when I was a kid. I always used to. Whenever I was fortunate enough to get a new Nintendo game and my mom was going to go to Kroger and go to Kmart and go to all these other places, I would open the game and I would read the instruction manual like just walking through the store. So I think that's kind of where it started. But anyways, I do enjoy reading them. I do. I really do. And I read them front to back unless they have like 15 different languages. But I've been in this situation so many times now where I built the thing backwards on step 2, and now I got to undo it and do it again. And I'm like, okay, I'll read the instructions. I'm giving in. I guess I'm a coward. J6 Life, you mentioned door, so I'm guessing it's one of those fancy glass panel ones. Oh, did I mention door? If I did, and are you right? Maybe. Yeah, good pickup on that one. The Black Sector, try using AWS. Yeah, AWX, the open source equivalent for Ansible Tower. Very powerful to automate your Ansible roles. Also, have a great workflow. Yeah, I've heard a ton about it. It's something I should probably implement at some point because I run all of my playbooks locally, on this machine, and I have to have an SSH terminal, and I don't want to set up a jump box to do all of that inside of my infrastructure, so I should probably set up AWX at some point. I know up until, I don't know, the last couple of years, the instructions have been super complicated. I'm not sure if they're still that way, so. But yeah, great point. Homelab New, hi Tim, how's it going, Homelab New? Good to see you. Let's see. Ape Drip says, Dekai, some of it might depend on your skill level too. Raspberry Pi has many bright people that have made projects that work out of the box, install and go. I hear some of the other brands are pretty much building every project yourself. People have Android builds that run on Raspberry. Yeah, I see that too. I see that a lot with Jeff Geerling, the king of SoCs or, integrated boards or Raspberry Pis. He tests a lot of different boards, and he'll, openly talk about some of the challenges that he's faced with some of those boards, whether it be drivers or configuration or older kernels that are super old, that he can't run some of the packages he wants to run because they support newer kernels. Meanwhile, the board only supports older kernels because of driver support. So yeah, all of that. I think, going with Raspberry Pi, there's just a gigantic community and ecosystem. And so sometimes selecting, the cheapest board or one that's available now, you don't always get that with those. You don't always get the ecosystem, and you don't always get the community that comes along with them. So, I mean, yeah, I would just do a little bit of research, go one step further. Instead of finding the best Pi Android board, figure out what you want to do with that board, what you want to run on that board. Maybe it's just Android. But obviously, if you're going to install Android, you want some apps or you want something else to run on top of there, unless you just want to run Android and run Chrome and run the settings, that might be fine. But figure out what it is, that app you're going to run or that service you're going to run on top of that, and then do some research to see if that works too. But I mean, just even having Android support would, I think, be good enough. But yeah. And then if you're not running Android, obviously, do the same thing. If you're going to run something, you're going to database or I don't know, or add some additional hardware, make sure the hardware is supported on the board too. J6 Life, I got in the habit of copying and pasting stuff via Notepad. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Text editor, then pasting whatever it is. Yep, so no formatting. I totally agree, and I that's the only reason why I open Notepad right now, is to strip off formatting from everything, because it drives me crazy. But yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, that's one of the biggest fears. I pretty much want to install some Linux distro desktops. Weird. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, I know what's going on. This is the first time I've ever had this happen because I saw it happen on my camera. My camera's overheating, and I've never had that happen. And it's not like it's like warm in here. All right, I guess I should turn on my fan. Maybe. Give me 1 second. Super weird. This camera has never overheated before, and now it just decides it wants to overheat. Super weird. Like I said, never had that problem before. My older camera, the one that's top down back there, overheats all the time. It drives me crazy. I've accidentally thought I was recording, and then when I hit end to stop recording, it actually started, and it's because it's overheated and I didn't realize. So anyways, but yeah, hopefully the fan kicks in, but oh, look at the time also too. So real quick, yeah, so that was a good signal. Hey guys, we got to wrap it up. I'm going to look for direct mentions or somebody saying something to me that possibly needs an answer or wants to talk about something as I scroll. I'm doing my best to look, but I don't see, so we're going to call it. Hey, ultimate dark mode engaged. All right, I saw that one, JCX. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That was ultimate dark mode. That's what happens when my camera overheats. You just see just a big black picture in my overlays. So anyways, hey, thank you so much for tuning in today, for joining in the stream. Hey, Juicy, dude, you the man. Thank you so much, dude. Juicy, Jazzy, Hoozy. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. There was subs, there was gifted subs, there were lots of follows. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thanks for being here. But most of all, thanks for just like being here and chatting and bringing in ideas and things to talk about. These are things that my brain needs throughout the week that sometimes I don't get at work. And so I'm so grateful that you're here to talk to me about these types of things, because it helps me build better things at home. When you guys talk about projects you're working on, technology that you're interested in, is MQTT, is Mosquito the best MQTT service bus? All those things help make my tech life better, because there are things that aren't available in my day-to-day conversations with people. So I greatly appreciate it. I don't know why I salute when I say thank you, but that's why I do. Anyways, water cool the camera. I need to. If I had a Linus budget, I would figure it out. If I had a Linus budget, I probably wouldn't have this camera. I would have a camera that didn't overheat. So I love it. But thank you guys so much. I'll be back next Saturday. I'm gonna start building my rack, so look for that soon. I'm heading down into the basement right after this to do it. And my basement, I will admit, looks kind of scary, so I need to make it look a little bit better and not like a dungeon when you see this video. So thank you so much. If you haven't already, you should absolutely join our Discord server. It's full of people that talk about this types of stuff, these types of topics, talk about things they're working on, things they're excited about, sharing all kinds of stuff. It's pretty awesome. As someone said earlier, they lurk a lot in Discord and they love it and love to help sometimes too, which is a great quality to have. So, hey, Notorious NYD, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So, hey, have a great rest of the weekend. I will see you next Saturday and hopefully have something out for you here shortly. Have a great weekend and be good to each other. Take care, folks.